Okay, so let's do in class 5, number 1. It says make level curves using the given values, then sketch the graph of the surface. So our values here are z0, z3, 4, 6, and x0. And here's our function. It's z equals square root of 36 minus 9x squared minus y squared. Okay, so let's do z equals 0 first. We'll put 0 in place of z here. So let's do that. So putting 0 in place of z, let's square both sides now. When you square both sides, then you'll have 0 equals 36 minus 9x squared minus y squared. So squaring both sides, we get this. Now subtract 36 on both sides. So doing that, we get then negative 36 equals negative 9x squared minus y squared, and divide everything by negative 36 now. So dividing here, so then this becomes 1 equals x squared over 4 plus y squared over 36. I'm going to write the x squared over 4 as x over 2 the whole thing squared, and this as y over 6 the whole thing squared. So let's do that. Then we can write as x over 2 squared plus y over 6 squared equals 1. This is the equation of an ellipse where the center would be 0, 0, and the x can go 2 up and down, the y can go 6 up and down. So let me graph it right here. So the graph would look like this. It would be an egg shape. So from the center you go up 6 and down 6 and to the right 6, to the left 6, and draw the egg shape. So that'll be our ellipse for this guy. So we've done z equals 0 now. So this is z equals 0. Okay, this is the x and y up here. Okay, let's do next z equals 3. So we're putting 3 in place of z, so putting 3 here. So let's square both sides. So we get 3 squared, and the square root goes away here. Then let's subtract 36 on both sides. So doing that, so it'll be then negative 36 plus 9, so 9 is 27 equals negative 9x squared minus y squared. Then let's divide everything by negative 27. Okay, so doing that, we got 1 on this side, and we'll get x squared over 3 here, and y squared over 27, so right over here. Okay, then 1 equals x squared over 3 plus y squared over 27. Now I'm going to, just like I did up here, I'm going to write it as x over something squared, y over something squared. So it's going to be x over square root of 3 squared and y over square root of 27 squared. So let me write that here. I can write it as 1 equals x over square root of 3 squared plus y over square root of 27 squared. Now we can graph this. So I'm out of space, so I'm going to erase a few things. So let's summarize what we have, and we'll keep going. So summarizing, we have this. So we're looking at z equals 3, we got the here. And now note square root of 27, you can write as square root of 9 times square root of 3, which is 3 square root of 3. So I can replace the square root of 27 with 3 square root of 3, so let me do that. Okay, so I've changed it here. So now this will be an ellipse also, and the center will be 0, 0, and it's going to go square root of 3 to right and minus square root of 3 to left of on the x-axis, and up and down 3 square root of 3. So let me graph it over here. Okay, so I graphed it here. So the square root of 3 is roughly 1.7, and 3 square root of 3 is roughly 5.2. So it's going to be similar to the one up here, except it's going to be a bit smaller. Okay, now let's do z equals 4 next. We get then, we get that 4 equals square root of 36 minus 9x squared minus y squared. Let's square both sides. We get this. Then subtracting 36 on both sides. Okay, so it'll be 16 minus 36 will be minus 20 equals negative 9x squared minus y squared, then dividing by minus 20. So dividing by minus 20. Now the 9 you can write as 3 squared, and the square root of 20 you can write as 20 you can write as square root of 20 squared. So pretty much this can be written as 3x divided by square root of 20 squared, and this can be written as y over square root of 20 squared. Okay, then we can write this 3, then we can bring down below the square root of 20 here. So let's do that. Okay, so then we can write it as x over square root of 20 over 3, the whole thing squared, y over square root of 20 squared. Now the square root of 20 is roughly equal to, the square root of 20 is roughly equal to 4.5, and square root of 20 over 3 is roughly 1.5. So let's graph this ellipse now. Let me put it right here. So the graph would look like this. Okay, so we've done z equals 4 now. Let's do z equals 6 next. So we have to do 6 and x is 0. So let's do x is 6 now. I'm going to erase this stuff here, and we'll do x equals 6. Okay, so doing z equals 6, so putting 6 in place of z here, we'll have this. So let's square both sides. So squaring both sides, we get this. And then subtracting 36 on both sides. Well, 6 squared is 36 also, so when you subtract 36 on both sides, this will become 0. So let me do it. So we'll have then 0 equals negative 9x squared minus y squared. We can multiply everything by minus 1. Let's do that. Multiply both sides by minus 1, just going to change all the signs. So we get then 0 equals 9x squared plus y squared. But x squared and y squared are positive, so the only solution to this is when x and y are both 0. Okay. So only solution x 0, y 0. So just be a point at the origin. I'll graph it right here. So just be a point here, that's when z equals 6. Okay, now let's do x is 0. Okay, so when x is 0, you're going to put 0 in place of x up here. So it'll be square root of 36 minus 9, 0 squared minus y squared. And note since z is this is actually called the principal square root, so it's positive always. So therefore z is going to be bigger than or equal to 0. So let's square both sides. So we get then z squared equals 36 minus y squared. Then let's add y squared to both sides. So we get then y squared plus z squared equals 36. And the 36 we can replace with 6 squared. So let me replace 36 with 6 squared here. Okay, so then this is going to be a circle of radius 6 centered at 0, 0. So let me graph it right here. So we have a circle in radius 6, and say this is the z-axis coming up this way, y-axis coming this way. This is when x is 0. Okay, so now let's try and graph the surface. So let me erase some things here, and we'll work off these graphs. Okay, so let me erase a few things. Oh, this should just be the top half of the circle, because we mentioned that z had to be greater than 0. So that's going to just give you the top half of the circle here. So when I drew the bottom half, I was incorrect, because we did mention z is greater than 0. Okay, so we're going to use these as a guide now to try and graph the three-dimensional surface. So let's first put this guy over here. So it's the half circle in the z, y plane of radius 6. Let me draw that. So drawing this guy then over here, so it'd be 6 units here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 back that way, 6 up that way, and then here. So this guy here would go to this one. Let's do this now. This is when z is 0. So z is 0 would put us down in the xy plane. So we have to draw this ellipse. So it'll be 6 on the y, 6 and minus 6, and then 2 and minus 2 on the x. Let me draw that in. Okay, so I've drawn it in. So this guy here will go to down here. Now let's do z equals 3 next. So I'm going to be up at 3, 1, 2, 3. So here, and I'm going to draw another ellipse at 3. So let me do that. So it looked like this guy here. Will be this one. And z equals 4. And I'm not going to draw in because it's too close to that one. It'll look kind of messy. So let's do the last one. Z equals 6. It's just a point. So therefore it'll end up just here. Okay, so it looks like an upside down bowl. So that'll be your surface. Okay, so we're done. So let's leave the video there.